the bill. The gentleman from Kentucky gets to talk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to express support for H.R. 4848 and thank my colleagues Dan Bishop and Harriet Hageman for doing this. We have witnessed in our weaponization subcommittee so many specific examples of censorship by the federal government, oftentimes by proxy through third-party actors, but censorship nonetheless. And this isn't something that's just happened this Congress or under this president or the previous president. This has been happening for the entire time that I have been in Congress. We've witnessed this. In fact, I sat on the dais with Lois Lerner right there in front of us when she came in to testify, and she took the fifth. She refused to testify. But what did we know that she was doing? She was discriminating based on viewpoint. And so we've known about this problem for a long time. We've exposed it thanks to the Twitter files and many other things that we've witnessed in the Judiciary Committee and the Weaponization Committee. And what I hear from my constituents is, what are you going to do about it? You have these hearings and nothing ever comes out of it. Well, this is what we're doing about it. We are passing a law that gives American citizens a right of action against federal employees for violation of their First Amendment. It is long overdue. I hope this will pass on a bipartisan vote because this is not a partisan issue. As the chairman has pointed out, it's not just Tea Party groups that have been censored for years. It's Black Lives Matter, it's on the left, and it's on the right. The censorship is happening. And the problem is, every person in the government who's done this for the last decade has got off scot-free. Nothing has come about it. I say let the lawyers represent the people in court cases against the federal government. Give them the ability to bring these cases and the ability to succeed. I know there have been cases brought but then dismissed because it was so hard to prosecute this. I appreciate that Dan Bishop and Harriet Hageman have given us a clear path for American citizens to bring accountability themselves, not to rely on us in this committee, not to rely on the DOJ to do something, but to give them the power in a courtroom to have their day in court and to bring accountability. So I'm very enthusiastically co-sponsoring this bill, and I urge its adoption.
Would the gentleman yield?
And I now yield to my colleague from Texas, Chip Roy.
I agree with everything the gentleman from Kentucky just said. I yield back.
No, wait, would gentleman yield to Ms. Sparks?
Yes, I yield to Ms. Sparks from Indiana.
Thank you very much. I'll be brief, but I'd really appreciate my colleagues bringing this bill. Our republic was created to protect people's rights to life, liberty, and property. But when we become in a government that becomes tyrannical, where we actually have a federal employees and federal government has oppressive techniques to oppress and suppress First Amendment rights that are so important. This is fundamentals of our country. We become very dangerous country with the government allowing to use money in a dictatorship of opinion. And unfortunately, our government has not been stepping up to protect people's rights. So this is an ability, at least for people, to challenge the government and protect their rights again for themselves against tyrannical techniques used. If we are not going to stand up for our freedoms, if we are not going to be standing up for our First Amendment rights, we're going to fail as a republic. So I think it's important to give that power for we the people. And I appreciate my colleagues standing up, and I hope that will be not a partisan issue because it shouldn't be. It should be bipartisan issue to support First Amendment rights of the American citizens and go against tyranny of the government that we see more and more. So I appreciate it, and I urge my colleagues to support this bill. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back.
I yield back to the congressman from Kentucky.
I thank the gentlelady from Indiana. Without the First Amendment, we can't have any of the rest. You can't protect them. Without the ability to criticize your government, without being repressed or without being prosecuted, you can't bring attention to this. So I appreciate the gentleman from Texas support and the gentlelady from Indiana. And again, thank my colleagues, Mr. Bishop and Ms. Hageman, for bringing about this much needed legislation. We need to protect the First Amendment, and that's why I support this bill, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The